The following operator training video on the Hobart model FP350 food processor is a supplement to the instruction manual that came with your food processor. If you have any questions concerning operation, please consult your manual. Your Hobart model FP350 food processor is constructed and designed to give long, satisfactory service, providing it is properly used and maintained. This training video will cover the operation, cleaning, and maintenance of the FP350. The FP350 food processor is used for slicing, shredding, grating, julienne cutting, and dicing vegetables, fruits, or cheese. Warning, rotating knives inside. Always use the pusher plate. Keep hands out. The green start switch is pushed to start the FP350, and the red stop switch is pushed to stop the food processor. Interlock switches prevent the food processor from operating when the feed cylinder is out of position or the pusher plate is raised above the feed cylinder. If these features don't function as described, contact your local Hobart service office. During operation, when the pusher plate is fully raised above the feed cylinder, the food processor stops and allows the pusher plate to be rotated counterclockwise for loading. To continue operation, rotate the pusher plate clockwise until it's directly above the feed cylinder. As the pusher plate begins to lower into the feed cylinder, the food processor will restart. You do not need to push the green start switch unless stop was pressed. Always push the red stop switch before changing cutters or cleaning. To fit the pusher plate, you must hold it with both hands in the exact position shown. Hold it with the pusher plate handle to the left of the machine as you face the front. Position the pusher plate shaft against the bracket on the food processor. Push the pusher plate down on the shaft with your right hand as far as it will go. The pin on the shaft of the pusher plate must slide into the slot in the bracket. To remove the pusher plate, hold the pusher plate handle, raise the pusher plate, and swing it out to the left so that the feed cylinder is set in the open position. Take hold of the pusher plate with both hands. Rotate the pusher plate until the pin on the shaft is out of the slot on the bracket. Pull the pusher plate up and away with the right hand. Using the pusher plate handle, raise the pusher plate and swing it to the left so that the feed cylinder is set in the open position. Release the feed cylinder lock by turning the lock handle counterclockwise. Then swing the feed cylinder out to the right. Place the ejector plate on the knife shaft. Press the ejector plate all the way down and turn it until the plate is in the lock position. Select the appropriate cutting tool for the job. Place it on the shaft, turning until engaged. Screw the decoring screw hand tight, counterclockwise into position in the cutting tool center. Swing the feed cylinder back to the left and turn the lock handle clockwise into the lock position. As before, using the pusher plate handle, raise the pusher plate and swing it to the left so that the feed cylinder is set in the open position. Release the feed cylinder lock by turning the lock handle counterclockwise. Then swing the feed cylinder out to the right. Place the ejector plate on the knife shaft. Press the ejector plate all the way down and turn until the plate is in the lock position. When dicing, place a suitable dicing grid as recommended in the cutting tool guide section of your instruction manual in the knife chamber and turn the dicing grid clockwise as far as it will go. When cutting potato chips, place the potato chip grid in the knife chamber and turn the potato chip grid clockwise as far as it will go. For the best cutting results, the direction of the potato chip grid blades and positioning of the potato should be as shown here. For French fries, select the appropriate cutting tool. Place it on the shaft, turning until engaged. Screw the decoring screw hand-tight counterclockwise into position in the cutting tool center. Swing the feed cylinder back to the left and turn the lock handle clockwise into lock position. If you use the wrong combination of dicing grid and slicing tool instead of the correct combination as shown in the cutting tool guide section of your instruction manual, the following may result. The feed cylinder cannot be closed, or the space between the dicing grid and the slicing tool is too large and leads to poor cutting results. After the pusher plate is raised, prepared products such as potatoes, carrots, onions, lettuce, cabbage, etc. can be placed in the large feed cylinder. When cutting French fries with the julienne cutter, place or pile the potatoes against the partition wall as shown. The potatoes may be stacked to cut several at one time. For consistent results, stack the product against the partition wall of the feed cylinder, one pile only. The large feed cylinder is also used to slice round products such as lemons and tomatoes. Position the product against the partition wall of the feed cylinder as shown here. For best results, it's advisable to remove tops and tails from products like lemons, limes, or onions and place them in the feed cylinder perpendicular to the desired cut. A light pressure on the pusher plate is all that is required to give the best cutting results. Use the feed tube when cutting elongated items such as cucumber, leek, etc. Since the food processor doesn't stop when the pestle for the feed tube is removed, you may use the feed tube for continuous feeding and or cutting. Always use the pestle to push foods through the feed tube. Warning, turn the machine off and unplug the electrical cord before cleaning. Clean the machine immediately after each use. Dismantle all removable parts from the machine and wash them in warm water and detergent. Rinse thoroughly and wipe dry with a soft, clean cloth. Allowing food juices to dry on the machine may cause discoloration. Never clean the cutting tools or other aluminum parts in highly alkaline dishwashing solutions or in excessively hot water. This can cause formation of aluminum oxide, which will appear black. Do not use steel wool or sharp objects for cleaning machine surfaces if they become discolored. Scratched surfaces become hard to keep clean. Do not leave the cutting blades in a wet condition when not in use. Never clean the machine with a high-pressure hose with steam injection equipment or in a dishwasher. And always store the cutting tools on the wall racks for safe handling and easy access. Remove the pestle, rinse in lukewarm water. Remove the pusher plate and then the feed cylinder, rinse in lukewarm water. Remove the cutting tool. If you have used a dicing grid before removing, push the remaining leftovers through the top of the dicing grid with a nylon brush. Pushing leftovers through the underside of the dicing grid may damage the grid. Remove the dicing grid and ejector plate. Rinse in lukewarm water. Wipe the knife chamber with a clean, damp cloth. Wipe dry with a clean, dry cloth. Return the cutting tools to the wall rack. Lower the ejector plate onto the knife shaft. Press all the way down and turn until the plate is in the lock position. Replace the feed cylinder and the pusher plate. Warning, turn the machine off and unplug the electrical cord before doing any maintenance. Routinely inspect the machine to ensure that it's in proper working order. Plates must be clean, intact, and sharp. The knife shaft should be regularly lubricated with a drop of mineral oil, not cooking oil. Depending on usage, dicing grids become dull from wear with an average life expectancy from 8 to 18 months. Dicing grids can't be resharpened and are therefore expendable. Replacement dicing grids are available from your local Hobart service office. Contact your local Hobart service office for any repairs or adjustments needed on this equipment. This concludes operator training for the Hobart model FP350 food processor. To obtain service and parts information concerning the FP350, contact your local Hobart service office.